Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to make this double hopper speed one wide and tileable minecart unloader that works on both Bedrock Edition and Java. Now I say double speed because overall it's limited to a double speed transfer, but it's actually going to unload the minecart itself at quad hopper speed since we're using a hopper minecart to do the actual unloading, and then that gets emptied at double hopper speed after it sends the minecart being unloaded off. I designed this when we needed a minecart unloader for our squid farm on the big Braincraft SMP. We were going to use Gruvaguy's design, but that one's pretty wide and didn't work with our size constraints, so I made a one wide tileable one using similar mechanics. This general type of unloader has been around for a long time, but it does differ from a lot of the designs that seem to be popular these days, because rather than stopping the minecart by detecting if there are items being actively transferred through the pickup hoppers, it reads the content of the minecart directly using the fact that when an inventory minecart is on a detector rail, we can see how full it is using a comparator. Now, with this kind of design, you actually can't have the detector rail sitting directly on a hopper because the detector rail emits a redstone signal when a minecart's sitting on it, which would lock the hopper, and it would stop the transfer. So we move the hoppers one down and put a hopper minecart above them to do the unloading so the detector rail won't interfere with the hoppers. And you can see that here. So this is the detector rail, and then we've got this minecart that actually does the unloading, which that in turn gets unloaded by these hoppers. Now, I said this is tileable, and to demonstrate that, I've built this, and this is that same design, but tiled 4 times. So you can see that they don't interfere with each other, and if I throw some items here, we can see that those get unloaded, and it gets unloaded pretty fast. If with just a single item, they don't even really get stopped. The design is pretty straightforward, so if you're familiar with the usual minecart rail placement tricks, this view here is probably going to be all you need to build this. But if you haven't done something like this before, then it might not be obvious how to place the rails in the hopper minecart, so we'll go ahead and do a block by block tutorial. I've got a materials list here, and so you'll need, I think you just need one rail, one detector rail, 2 hoppers, a comparator, a repeater, a redstone torch, a sticky piston, a block of redstone, some kind of fence gate, some kind of trapdoor, just some building blocks of some kind, and then a couple of hopper minecarts. And then you'll also need some powered rail or normal rail to connect this to whatever farm that you're connecting it to. So to build this, you're going to have a chest that sits one below the blocks that the minecart rails run on top of. And then we're going to place 2 hoppers on top of that, and then we're just going to extend this out. Add a redstone block to power the rails that we're going to put on top of it. And just extend that out a few blocks. And then we're going to, these are the rails that we're going to place that would actually connect to whatever you need to pick up items from. Next, we're going to place a glass block on top of this hopper, and then I'm going to place these 2 trapdoors on the side. This isn't really necessary, but it'll keep us from accidentally bumping the minecart out. The next step is we need to get this minecart with hopper inside of this glass block. And so to do that, I'm going to place 2 blocks like that. I need some normal rails. I'm not going to need glass anymore. I'm going to place one rail there, and then the hopper minecart goes there, and then that will fall right inside that glass block, and then we can go ahead and remove those. Next, we're going to place our detector rail there, a normal rail there, and then we need one up there. So I'm going to place a rail here, and then I'm going to break it, and then that will keep this pointed up like that. And then we can go ahead and remove that block. Next step is we need a comparator here to read, because it can read through a block. I'm going to place block there, break that one because it's not necessary. Get out our torches. That torch goes there. One block on top of that one, and then also one over. And then a block on top of this torch here. So next is a repeater pointing out of that block. And then a sticky piston that the repeater points into. And this repeater can just have the default timing. We'll place our redstone block there. Then I need a fence gate, which I'm just going to place it right under there. Default state for that's going to be open. Then I need to connect this powered rail there. And that should be finished, so not a hard build. If I go ahead and place a minecart, and we'll nudge it to get it moving. So we can see by default it can travel freely, and then if we add some things for this to pick up, we can see that the fence gate closes and locks it in place while both hoppers transfer stuff out of that. And we can see how quickly it sent that off, even though these are still transferring out of that buffer hopper, or buffer hopper minecart, I should say. So really the only trick to tiling this is when we go to make this inclined minecart rail, it's important that we don't break that one, and then when we go to place this one, because they'll connect like you see here, which kind of ruins that setup. And so you need to go and place all of those like that. Then we're free to place these. And then these can just be broken, and these will be left intact. And then we can go and connect these however we need to. So that's pretty much it for the tutorial. It's a pretty simple design as far as redstone goes, but I hope you all found it useful. It's good to have some options, especially for Bedrock players, since a lot of the tutorials for these kinds of things are older and some use Java-specific mechanics. But if you like these kind of things, please subscribe. I've got a few more ideas you might find interesting, and I also post videos from the Big Braincraft SMP. So goodbye for now.